Hey, what's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. So, today is something different. Let me know how the audio is. It looks like it's running good. I'm going to have to turn fans on and stuff, though, eventually. But since I'm still trying to achieve my goal of 6,500 miles for the year, I am going to ride my trainer while I chat. So, what's up, Jay Bird? What's up, Grand Subject, Large Marge, Jay Dandy, and Blackball? So, yeah, this is my plan for the evening is to try and I got 30 miles in earlier today with Large, and now I'm going to try and get at least 10 miles more in. I need to get 40 miles, including today, every day, the rest of the year to get 6,500. So, yeah, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Yeah, GCN. Do you like my GCN like shorts? This is the only time you'll ever see me in cycling shorts, Jay Dandy, because well, these ones a company actually sent to me, and they wanted me to review them, and then I realized I can't review cycling shorts because I have no frame of reference. So, Blackball. So I have water here, and I have a Columbus IPA here because who doesn't drink beer while riding the trainer? So, anyways, let me let me get a ride loaded up. So I want something, since I'm just trying to ride miles, I want something flat. And then I guess 10 miles ish. I haven't had, they've added stuff to Zwift since I used it because I've only used it a couple times this year. So this Islands is new to me. So I have no idea how hilly it is. Wandering Flats. 15 miles and only 478 feet of climbing. That sounds good. I also need to make sure my trainer is still... Now let me get this so it fits in the screen. Well, I'll see once I load the ride what it looks like. But you guys can keep me company while I knock out some miles, if you want. All right, yeah, let's see if I can adjust this. I also don't know, this will look like maps. I have no idea also how well my computer down here will do with running Zwift, OBS, the streaming software, and everything, so we'll find out. Right now, it seems like it's going good. It doesn't seem like it's slowing it down. I mean, it is a hardwired internet connection, but it's also not loading this world now, so. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me make this fit in the screen a little better. Why won't you give me the options? There we go. Dylan is gonna hate this. Yeah, for sure. I think he already booed my first trainer ride on Strava. Yeah, when I put the first trainer ride on Strava this year. Oh, there he is. Actually, Jay Dandy, you can't see. I have the full map down here on my phone because I use my phone on the bars to control this. Okay, this needs to be resized with the... Oh, I have to read my key. I did not practice for this. This was my goal. If you guys follow on Discord, I said there might be a bonus stream yesterday, and my goal was to figure this all out ahead of time, and I didn't. So I'm doing it all on the spot. If someone like me just to completely wing something, right? There we go. I guess that looks good enough, right? Oh, there we go. What's up, Whiskey? How's it going? Dylan says he's not a trainer hater, put many miles, just not anymore. I didn't think I would ride mine again. I really didn't, and well, I might as well start pedaling. But it was that cold where I was just like, there's no way I can attempt the Festive 500 or my 6,500 mile goal without without doing it on the trainer, because the snow was just too slow. So, and like I've said in my videos, like, I'm not riding inside instead of riding outside. I rode 30 miles outside today, but my time is limited. You know, I rode 30 miles outside yesterday, so. Jay Dandy, no, I did not shave my legs. Hey, what's up, Arthur? Happy holidays. What's up, Sam Diaz? Yeah. Yeah, so my trainer, for anyone who hasn't watched any of the videos about him, this is a Saurus M2. So it's a wheel-on trainer. This is my old Trek 1500. I bought this bike mostly for the group set, but ended up riding it for a little while outside, and then took it apart, took all the components off it, and put the components on a 1983 Trek. So made a Neo Retro build out of the combination. And then I came across another 9-speed Shimano group set and a wheel set that was cheap, and I built this back up just for the trainer. There's no bar tape on here or anything. I guess I did hook up the brakes for some reason. There's no reason to, but I did. Cosmin, no, there's no crashing in Zwift. You'll see when I go, well, I've never ridden in this world before, so I have no idea, but in some worlds where you go through big intersections, you'll see you just go right through the other riders. There is now, I believe, steering if you have the right hardware, which I don't. So there's steering, and then some people have their trainers set up on rocker plates, and there's all kinds of stuff. Mine is, I think, about the most basic setup you could have and still have it be a smart trainer. So if you'll see in where the map is, I guess, which up in the corner, you'll see the percentage of the grade. And so when the grade kicks up, the resistance on the roller in the back, slows me down. It's a little delayed on this trainer. I don't know if it's faster on more expensive trainers, but so it does make it harder. This is called McCurry. I think it was McCurry Island. I've never ridden in this world before because I only hooked my trainer back up on Monday, I think. So they didn't have this last winter. I never ride these things. I don't ride this trainer at all when the weather's nice. So I didn't ride it in the summer or spring. So they've added a lot since I've last ridden one. What's up, Balancing the Bike Life and Bradley? Yeah, I'm just knocking out some miles. Hey, Bradley, you have the Kicker Snap. Is the Kicker Snap like this one where you put the whole bike on there, or does that go onto a cassette without the rear wheel? I know there's a Kicker Core, Kicker Snap. Bouncing the Bike Life, there is a trainer game that I watched a guy play when I first got the trainer where it's like Grand Theft Auto, where you could like ride around and shoot people and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure if you do a quick Google, you could find it. No, yeah, Grand Subject, like this guy, my guy won't run into anyone. It's just about the pedaling, and that's just a visual representation, So there is stuff like that. I have that Aero Boost right now I could use. You'll see my speed will go up without my cadence going up. So it's basically like I'm drafting right now for a minute. So they have stuff like that. Okay, Bradley, yeah, your trainer is pretty much just like mine. I think Wahoo's are just a little nicer though. Mine's a little cheaper. Okay, Sam Diaz, you have the Kicker Core. That's the one I was thinking of where that goes onto the cassette. I think if you're going to ride a ton on a trainer, which I don't, it's worth investing in one of the nicer ones like the Core. I'm already almost... The thing, it's amazing. So it's been really cold down here, especially, you know, I'm in a basement of a 1920s building. Especially with those single digits we had last week. And I have all my... This is radiant heat, hot water heated building. So I have all the pipes insulated down here so the heat gets upstairs. So even though it was a little warmer today, when you ride a bike without wind, it is crazy. And I haven't turned the fan on. And so only being 2.3 miles in, I am already like about to overheat. So I do have a fan down here that I need to kick on. That's why I went with the mic here, hoping that it wouldn't be too loud. But one other thing you have to remember on the trainer is, just like with your real bike, to shift into an easy gear before you stop, because that resistance will be there when you start up, especially like I'm on a 2% grade. So I usually try to wait to take a break until I'm on a flat or a downhill. So see if this goes down and then I'll hop off and turn the fan on. It's still 2%. Oh, Sam, you said yours gets a lot of use in Chicago winters, I bet. We're so hit or miss. Okay, now I got it downhill. Let me, before I finish this thought, turn this fan on before I pass out. And I've been drinking. Usually don't have beers before riding a trainer, but not usually. I've never in my life had a beer before riding on a trainer, but like I said, me and Large were riding outside. We went out to dinner and all that stuff and met up with a friend. There we go. That's much better. Bradley, so you said the Snap is more than enough for you. Same with me. That's why I kind of got the most budget smart trainer I could. And I said in the last video I made, if I was buying one now, I would probably get like a Kicker or something like that used. Because so many people, I think, from 2020 and the pandemic bought them and then sold them. Or, you know, aren't riding them anymore. All right, let's get... Hey, what's up, Charles? Put the fans behind me so I have a tailwind. Yeah, I have a crosswind where this one is. I actually have a vintage fan that's on a stand. It's right over here. It's really great for this because it puts the fan at like face level, but it's really noisy, so I wasn't going to use it tonight. Oh, Bradley, you said you got yours used for like $225. Nice. And I always feel like, not that I want to do this, and that's kind of why I didn't say it in the video, but I feel like you should play hardball on the price of buying a trainer used, because, you know, decent smart trainers are, you know, they go all the way up like anything, but you should be able to get a decent one for like $400 or $500 new. So if someone's selling one used, you know, it's got to be a good deal, or why wouldn't you just buy a new one? So I think that $225 range is where I'd want to be at used also. Charles, to make my training ride as realistic as possible, you have your girlfriend blow your car horn and shout obscenities. They do have a New York City world in this, but it's mostly through Central Park and then into like some futuristic like skywalks, but so like right here, if you're free riding, for anyone to know, I'd be able to pick my turn, but I already picked a pre-selected route, so I don't have to do that. It's going to take me the directions I've already selected. Yeah, and so just as you guys could hear from me, like when people say like a trainer is not a workout or it's not like real riding, like I said, I don't know how the miles relate, but I could tell you right now that it is a workout. Plus, you just pedal. Like when I'm riding my bike today, you know, like I said, we're stopping at stop signs, stoplights, looking at things, making sharp turns, drinking beers if you're someone like me. Whereas when you ride on a trainer, it's like you just ride, and the workout you get, like I said, is very efficient. This is why pros train this way so much, you know. And like with this too, even though I'm just kind of like free riding a route, a lot of people, you'll see I'll pass them. There'll be like a sheet in front of them. They're doing a planned workout. So they might actually be interval training and the trainer's controlling the resistance to make the intervals happen and all that stuff. I never do any of that. But that's super, if you care about getting faster and stronger, there's no better way to train than that. I just like to get some little extra miles in. Hey Mick, now I got it, it's right here. I guess I'm 3 beers deep for the day? No, 4. Because me and Ben stopped and had one on an abandoned train bridge. Then I had 2 beers with dinner, and then I drank one before we streamed. So, yeah, not ideal trainer nutrition, but here we are. I really should drink some of the water first before I crack that other beer, though. Sam Diaz said an hour on the trainer can feel kind of rough sometimes. Riding outside is always easier. And I said 100%, but like the energy output, like the wattage I'll do on the trainer, I don't have a power meter on my outside bikes, but even looking at the mileage I cover, say this thing is fairly accurate, you know, today I rode for almost 3 hours outside. It was like 2:40, 2 hours and 40 minutes to get 30 miles in. You know, on my trainer, I could get 20 miles in an hour. So the trainer is rough, but it's just way superior when it comes to efficiency if you care about that, which, like, I just have a mileage goal, so it's perfect for that. Bouncing the bike life. I don't know if you weren't here, but Zwift does have some steering. I don't know how much. If you have the right piece of hardware, there is a thing that goes under your front wheel. But I think it's only when I stopped riding last year, it was only in certain locations. So I don't know how much there is, but I mean, I can turn my wheel as much as I want. It just doesn't affect the game. My front wheel is sitting on a phone book, so. Ride like a Belgian pro. Where's the helmet? I should probably wear one because for some reason, the way this trainer connects in the back, my quick release always comes open. I know it shouldn't, and it's a quick release that came with the trainer. But my bike does rock a little bit on here. But it really has nowhere to go, but it does make me nervous. I know something's not right. It never has been, but whatever. Oh, Charles, you said you ride like to the length of a Terry B Hotline video. Yeah, I was watching his, the one where Man, I confuse all their names between Instagram and everything, but one of his latest ones, it was a Mexico City, what do you call that? Bike messenger race. Alley Cat. I watched that when I rode the other day. But, so yeah, I'll have Zwift on the screen in front of me, and then on my big TV up here, I'll usually have something else on. Like, when I did that 45-mile ride, I watched a documentary on the rebuilding of Notre Dame. Yesterday, when I did 20 miles, I watched a GCN documentary with Mitch Bowen riding in Tasmania, which was fantastic, by the way. But yeah, that one I put on, it was 56 minutes, and I was going about, I think, was that a 21-mile ride? It worked out perfect, though. I think I rode for like 2 minutes after the documentary ended. Oh, was there a sprint there? I do sprint those sometimes. If I'm riding alone, or like right now, and you can see on the bottom of the screen is a chart of my energy, and I think it goes blue when I'm over 200 watts. And for the hell of it, sometimes I'll see how long I can hold it up there, and then here, let's see, get it in a harder gear. Whew. Too hard. Just to keep it interesting. Yeah, Pudgy, you're just watching me play Nintendo now. Standard tires will get destroyed, so I wouldn't recommend that, Pudgy. I tried to use regular tires on this when I first got it. It destroyed them pretty quick. I would get flats. So it's not that you can't do it. It's just that trainer tires are super thick rubber, and you pump them up to like 110 PSI and they just last longer. So you could, like I said, you can use an old road tire, but you'll go through them. Like, I pretty much went through my collection of old road tires really fast. Oh yeah, Mick. I think like when I rode 45 miles the other day, took me 2 hours. I think it's brutal on a trainer. So yeah, doing over 60 miles, a metric century on a trainer, that's tough. I think I did a Fondo one year that was 50 miles when I first got it, a New Year's Day Fondo, and that was the farthest I've ever gone. And there was a lot of climbing too, so I don't remember how long it took me, but it was absolutely exhausting. Yeah, like I was saying, 15 miles on the trainer is about where I'm comfortable. Like I said, that's why it's the only time you'll see me wear like padded bike shorts, because the trainer doesn't move very much. And this, back to your question, Arthur, too. This tire, oh, we're climbing, that's why it got hard. I'm not paying attention. Should have shifted. Actually, my friend Adam Bennett gave it to me because he bought a nice trainer, and I had kind of shredded. I had a Vittoria that was made for the trainer. And so at Road Apple last year, I believe it was, or maybe the year before, but Friend Adam Bennett gave me a tire, which was kind of nice. I can't remember how much Trainer tires cost though. I don't think they're crazy. Because they're just thick rubber. It's not like they're making nice cotton, you know, threaded tires like your typical supple tire. But pick it up for a minute. Yeah, this bike too, I have a, it's funny for a Trainer setup. It's a 3x9, I think Ultegra group set? Yeah, 3x9 Ultegra. But I pretty much just keep it in the middle ring for most of what I ride and use the rear. But I have done some climbing rides where I need to get into a super easy gear. Kicks up to 8, 9, 10%. I do find when I ran, also Pudgy, when I ran the road tires, I had to make sure to clean the steel drum. They left a lot of residue on there. I don't know how much that affects anything. Probably just the next tire you put on, just the Sprint. I was curious, I wanted to put up a poll as a post on YouTube. Did anyone ask or have anyone who buys them cool bike stuff for Christmas or any of the holidays? For my family, I mostly asked for just any wool socks or base layers. And I did get a bunch of fresh wool socks, and to me, that's about the best bike gift to ask for. I did get a base layer, synthetic base layer, that's pretty nice. And a merino wool long sleeve top that I've been wearing on my rides lately. Yeah. No Renee Hurst Trainer tires. What are we about halfway done with this route? I don't know if I'm going to be able to crack a beer. Well, not at this pace. I can always slow down, but. Oh, Mick, you got a new Brooks saddle for your fixed wheel, Brody? Nice. I need to buy another B17 for the Gunner build. I was trying to decide what color, but I think I'm just going to go black for that one. One thing I knew from road riding, or just riding out on bike trails, is that I found I tend to keep a similar cadence and just use my gearing to adjust how fast or hard I'm riding. And I noticed I do the same thing on the Trainer. So if it kicks up and the resistance kicks up, I almost keep the same pace until it gets enough for me to shift. But I don't know if that's typical for most people or not. I have no idea. Dylan's an extra light Renaers, casing slick as a Trainer tire, 20 minutes before it pops. Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out, but it'd be a $90 experiment, right? Pudgy, you said you got a pile of Bruin stuff and a hybrid. A hybrid? What does that mean? Hybrid. Let me know what that is. Oh, your Prius. Yeah. Hybrid. Yeah. Jay Dandy got some wool socks and an entry to Road Apple Roubaix. Nice. Charles got a crane. Bring bell. And some woody fenders for your 1950 Path Racer. Nice. Jay Dandy got a light mount. Stretch my back. Grand Subject got heated socks and vest. You have to let us know how you like the heated socks. My feet have been getting cold almost no matter what the temperature is. Oh, Mick, you got a black B17. Nice. Sorry to hear about the Bruin stuff. Arthur bought himself a Trek 1000 to use as a winter road bike. I ordered myself, Rafa had their year-end sale and they had some really ugly colored socks that they were selling for like 10 bucks. And I love their socks just because I bought the EF socks before. So I ended up ordering myself some cycling socks from Rafa just because they were marked down so low. Maybe like $20 socks new, maybe 25. New, I mean they're new, but Brooke's not even producing the Professional right now. Oh, climbing. Yeah, only have like 4 colors. Yeah, I saw that. I looked at the website to try and pick out a color, but I'm gonna get whatever Dirty River has, and I know they have some classic black ones in stock, and then some of the more tan brown ones too, which would be the choices I wanted for that. It's a gray bike, you know. Balancing the Bike Life said you got a rock. Do they make trainers that make contact with the rim instead of the tire? No. They make trainers that you don't have a rear wheel on. You just hook it on a cassette or whatever holds it. I don't know what. It must hook on axle somewhere, but I know nothing about hockey as always, so. Can you guys hear any of the desktop audio from the game? It's bouncing real lightly. I didn't want it to be annoying, but I thought it'd be good to have it a little bit in the background. There's a little music in this part. I guess I'm in some kind of, Japanese casino or something. Yesterday when I was riding, I saw something I'd never seen before. I passed a bunch of guys virtually, like 4 of them on hand cycles. So I don't know if they sell those for home use or if people go to the gym and there's like a hand cycle that you could ride as like a treadmill. It would make sense at this point. I was just like, that's cool, because I've been watching Francis Cade's videos of riding across the country with his buddy who's riding a hand cycle. Arthur said you always like the Brooks Professional. Yeah, B17s and then a, what is it, a Swallow are the only ones I have. So. Yeah, I don't know this terrain at all. Like I said, first time ever riding in this world. So I'm 186 feet of elevation, 5.8 miles left, so there must be a decent climb. Not huge, but a little climb somewhere. Because I think it was what, about 500? Is that what the one I selected? Oh, Charles has a blue B17. Vintage light blue French bicycle and Brooks Professional and Archer color. Sell them on eBay for 400. There's a bike shop in Cleveland, Beat Cycles, I think it was, me and Large stopped at, and Aaron, and they had like every color of B17. It was pretty cool. Bicycle Dad said, is there a way to make my Zwift guy go faster without me killing myself? I don't think so. Hook an e-bike to your trainer. Daniel asked why I don't cycle in the outdoor. I just rode 30 miles outside before I got here. It's dark out and it was time to live stream. So I do ride in the actual outdoors, and I bet I ride way more miles than you do. It's gonna be mid-60s here one of these days coming up, but it's supposed to rain, so. Oh, is that outdoor hockey game tonight? Mick's got those birthing hips, childbearing hips, right? Yeah. I love the B17 too, just the classics. Riding on the back of a B17 is awesome. Oh, the outdoor hockey game is on the 2nd. I do think it's cool they do that. Aren't they doing one, is it a college game? I think they're doing one in Cleveland, right? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, Fenway you already said, which is not in Cleveland. But I think they're doing one in Cleveland too. Oh, there's some off-road stuff here, huh? That also affects the resistance. So since I'm riding a road bike, off-road, it'll up the resistance. I could stop the game and switch to a gravel or a mountain bike, and it would actually be faster in these sections. But I'm not racing and I don't care that much, obviously. So. Oh, 60 degrees and clear skies in Georgia on Sunday. We might have warmer weather than you up here. Thanks, Jay Dandy. Turn that. Did I miss it?
Super chatted $1.99. I'm eating ice cream, but you keep peddling, Tim.
What was my pace if I do what Large said? So I was doing 20, so need to get up to 21 miles an hour. Shift into a harder gear. Like I said, keep the same cadence. Get this chat set back up. Oh, it's 23 miles an hour. Whew. Need to go by wattage instead of MPH on challenges on this, because with the ups and downs, it's harder to keep my average speed the same, it's easier to keep my wattage up and down. Should I get on the drops before they get my aerodynamics to get the speed up?
Pudgy Pedal Pusher Super Chatted $1.99. Pedal you Nancy, the pine cones are almost caught up.
What is my, that's 3.4 watts per kilo, which is a lot for me. I'm gonna have that climb coming too, I think. Yeah, 3%. That's what I mean, I can't keep the speed up, but I can keep the watts up. Maybe. With those 2 super chats, we'll see how long I keep it over 200 for, but I'm already feeling it. 4%. Yeah, he usually tries to match the pedal stroke, and he, like right now he's standing up. So it's combining your cadence and wattage. So you see I'm putting out that many watts now, but I'm at 13 miles an hour because the gradient. You could also make it go into an aero tuck on downhills. There's a certain way to pedal and stop, and you can keep your speed up. I've never figured out how to do it. Also, Bicycle Dad, I believe you said you just got a trainer like this. Make sure you put the SARS utility app on there and do a spin down test occasionally. That's how you calibrate it, and if you don't, it'll be really inaccurate. I do it like 4 times in a row to try and get it right. Bouncing the bike light. I'm making you feel, oh, 9%. Yeah, I need a shift or I'm going to come to a standstill. 10%. Let's see if I could catch that guy on the purple bike. All right, it's easing up a little there.
Pudgy Pedal Pusher Super Chatted $4.99. If you ain't blowing out your O-ring, you ain't pedaling. Banana, banana, hot dog, banana, banana. Tim's got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are standing in a row, big ones, small ones.
Yeah, Bicycle Dad, some people say you're supposed to calibrate these things before every ride. I'm obviously not going to do that. And you have to warm it up for about 5 minutes to make it the most accurate. So some people go into Zwift, ride a couple miles, then go into the app, calibrate it, and then go into their planned ride. So since I rode 3 days in a row, I didn't do it. But if I take like a week off, I'll recalibrate. Which is very common for me, because if the weather is rideable outside, I'm not going to be in here. Whew. Pudgy. Put my pump in his smoke so I can break it away. Let's catch this guy in the orange. I'm dropping below 200. The other thing I can't help myself from doing, and I think it's a remnant of being a runner, is like, once I get under 2 miles, I usually start to just kill myself to try and finish it. And then under a mile, like sprinting to the line. I don't know how much I'll have of that in me today, because 50-mile day yesterday, we said 30 miles outside today, and as you can see on that graph at the bottom, I've been over 200 watts quite a bit. Maybe it'll be a downhill finish. Like I said, I don't know this world, so I'm not sure of the terrain. But I will be happy when this climb is over. Was that Iban Mayo I just passed? I wasn't looking. There's names on the side, though, you could see. Yesterday I caught up to this group of like 40 riders from Poland. They all had team kit on. And so drafting actually works in Zwift with a smart trainer. So I hung with that group as long as I could. It was towards the end of my ride, so I sat in their Peloton to get the draft, you know. I haven't puked yet. Coordinate with Lanky into a Zwift race. One of my problems is I don't trust the accuracy of my trainer. Well, I don't think Lanky has a smart trainer either. Unless he ended up switching it out. He didn't in some of his early videos about riding indoors. Here we go. Back on the flat. Let's see how quickly, 2.5 miles. I need to ease up a little. I can't go that hard. But Party Size Cycling, who's a channel member and who we rode with in Connecticut, he has a group trainer ride on Wednesday nights. It's just that's my outdoor bike ride. Where last night we were struggling through the snowy bike trail, so studded tires last night. Winter bikes. Give it all the pocket tendies. Oh man, climbing again. Passing on Ulrich. Maybe even a devil's toboggan. All right, drink some water, get under 1.5 miles, and then we'll see how much I have left in me. I always, if I do want to motivate myself to go fast and I'm around someone else, I think of being in the breakaway. That's more my my motivation is thinking in my head like the Peloton's bearing down and you gotta cross the line before they catch you. Let's see, 1.7 miles. Oh, was he? Charles, I didn't know that about Jan. But then again, they used to take the winters off, you know. Just ride mileage after I think, don't they say pro cyclists used to take off till after New Year's and then just ride big miles? Now they're taking like 2 weeks off and back to interval training. But Obviously the level of competition now. 1.4 miles though, right? See how I can keep this. I also never talk when doing this. It would be easier if I knew this course too. Because I have to climb it all in the end, it's gonna kill me. Jan's a black book full of German flying phone numbers. Now, under a mile. I think I went too early. I'm dead. I don't know, who was the last rock star cyclist? Tom Boonen, maybe? Yeah, not the first time, Pudgy. Definitely not the first time off a bicycle. I should use my draft boost. Oh, Cipollini for sure. Cipollini retired a little before Boonen though, right? Oh, no, not an uphill. All right, let's put it in the big ring. Oh, that was a strong finish. I think I like Boonen too because he was a classic specialist, which are my favorite races. Cipollini was a sprinter. I do like Cipollini because he would wear all those goofy skin suits and get fined for them. I wonder. But your mom's probably hearing this and thinking you have the worst taste in porn. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was a. I'll stop here in a second and just chat for a little bit, but definitely got to cool down for a second. Get that man a beer. Yeah, let me slam some water so I can drink that beer. Yeah, it's interesting with the climbers. These young guys are just starting to beat the times of the doping era pros. But I think it's the training and the bike tech, you know. These guys are so much better trained than even the dopers were. Like, modern training was just coming on, like in the peak of the doping era. But at the top level, those bikes now are a lot faster. Specialized Olay Olay. I didn't know I had a weekly 5-hour goal, but I guess I do. Oh, Eric Zeba? Yeah. The dope is better. Uh, I know you always believe that, Jay Dandy. I don't want to, like, ever claim that I know, but people are always going to try and find an edge. But one of the reasons I don't feel like they're doping is, one, the biological passport makes it really hard to dope. But two, like, with the training they have now and the bikes they have now, I feel like they would have been smashing, like, those times years ago, you know. Not years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But, I mean, doesn't Pantani still hold the record up Alpe d'Huez? And, I mean, we all know him and Lance were doped to the gills. Blood transfusions and everything, so. Mr. Shut Up Legs, is that the commentator? I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, I mean, that was the Team Sky and now Ineos mentality, was that idea of, you know, every single marginal gain, and I think that's where they've gotten. They are robots now. Vaughters, who runs EF, I mean, like, he's admitted he was doping back then too, but he was interval training to power on trainers and with power meters, like, right at the beginning of all that kind of technology. Jay Danny says they microdose in other things now. Yeah. I don't think, though, you know, HDH, blood transfusion, EPO, I don't think they're doing anything that has those dramatic kind of effects on making you train so much better as they were back then. I'm sure they're doing everything they can to push the boundaries. You know, Nairo Quintana got busted this year for taking something that was banned, but again, it was more of a painkiller. It wasn't a performance-enhancing drug, which obviously you can argue that something that kills pain is performance-enhancing, but not to the level where it's going to up your wattage output like EPO or a blood transfusion, you know. Jans Voigt. Thanks, Mick. I couldn't think of his name. And what is that, on the NBC coverage? They have him climb the mountains a lot of times, like in the tour coverage. Yeah, microdosing is so hot right now. I have a number of friends that microdose. I always liked going for the full dose. That's more of my psychedelic mentality. I never took a little bit of anything. My buddy Eric was just in town. We were talking about that. We were like, well, I might as well pedal this up to an even 18 miles at this point. Don't defame the pirate. He's one of my favorite, Charles. Pantani out of, like, the doping era. I mean, I think a lot of those guys did it because you had no choice if you wanted to compete. I mean, most of them, almost all of them, just where it got to, unfortunately. But yeah, Pantani's my favorite climber, probably of all time. I think he was a badass. I was remembering a story where, is this safe to say? Is my family watching this? Me and my buddy Josh, like we were somewhere and a guy offered us these mescaline capsules and he's like, take one, you'll be fine, take two, you'll puke. Of course we take two, hanging out at a fire, listen to the Stones, have a whole group of people hanging around us after a while, and then 45 minutes later, stumbling around yelling and puking everywhere. And we come to, tripping on mescaline, looking at the fire, and we ask our buddy who's with us, or his girlfriend at the time, where'd everyone go? And she says, I think you guys kind of scared him off when you started stumbling around and puking all over the place. And groaning. Oh, fair enough. All right. Richard Berenke? Bereke? How do you pronounce that last name? Bereke? I've heard that said and now I can't. I didn't mean to share that to party. Does that happen automatically? Can we shut? Yeah, we're shutting off the Game Boy now, Pudgy. That's actually, like I said, why I like this, though. It's a game. That makes it way more fun for me. But hey, I'm not a big fan of low alcohol beer either now. I don't think I've ever had a beer right after riding the trainer, but I also had never ridden the trainer at 9 o'clock at night while live streaming either, so. Also looks like I have the exposure a bit hot, huh? One thing we do need to do is open up another window and save this to Strava and see what's going on in the Discord. Whoops, wrong buttons. Mescaline makes it funner. No, I don't want to share it, I want to edit it. Got to change the bike to my truck. 1500. I'd say that upper end of moderate there, right? I never know how to rate those. I don't want to sit on this saddle. Let's get a stool over here. I think maybe, will this work good enough? I have this camera balanced on so much to be in that position. I shouldn't just turn it like that without thinking about it. Let's see, let's get this all. Get that angle a little better. Oh yeah, I got the wireless mic on, I can move around. Oh, I should adjust that exposure while I'm up here too. If I could find the right buttons. This camera doesn't work very well anymore. Oh well. Doesn't matter. This isn't a This isn't a proper video. Thanks, Bradley. How you doing? Yeah, that was a good, I should look at Strava and see where I'm at in my, where after my ride earlier and ride now, where I'm at. I'm used to looking at it on my phone. Where's the, oh, it's on the main page on the desktop, I guess. All right, 6,428 miles. So, what is that math? My brain's not working. I have no oxygen. 500 minus 428. Someone do that math for me. Where did I set my phone already? Oh, there it is. Hey, what's up, Jason Gates? "72 miles to go, so 36 miles, right, each of the next 2 days on average. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Pudgy. You got it. 69-ish is, they would say at Higher Ground Hundo, right? Do you think you're going to do that again next year, Dylan? I should turn this fan off now. I'm already cooling down pretty quick. $69.420. Did you guys see how those bikes got stolen from the Cleveland Velodrome? And someone, so they have a donation, Kickstarter or GoFundMe or whatever, and someone did donate $420.69 to it. Get this on. Dylan, you said, yeah, you want to do it again. The crowd was really cool, not gravel racers and not mountain bike enduro bros. Great in between. Yeah, that's what I felt. It was a very similar crowd to the kind of crowd that showed up for Nutmeg. In fact, you know, there's a number of people that I met there that showed up at that I met at Higher Ground that were also at Nutmeg. But Mick, you asked, does it take me long to relax before hitting the hay after a late night session? I don't know the answer. I've never ridden the trainer that late at night. That was a first for me. So, yeah, no idea. I think I'm going to unwind and finish this beer while we chat, and then we'll see. I'm going to have to take a shower, obviously. That sprint at the end got me all sweaty. So, I don't think it'll affect me. Aaron gave me her old Fitbit, and I've been wearing it. Just for the heck of it. It's nice to see, like, tracking my sleep and stuff, kind of. My heartbeat is at 111 right now, so we'll be able to see how much it goes down over the course of the stream. I think when I ride about that hard, I haven't paid attention to it for that long yet, just a few weeks. I think it could get up to like 160, and my resting is about 62. So if anyone ever follows their heart rate stuff, maybe that might mean more to you than it does to me. But yeah, it's already dropping. It's already down to like 108, so 107. So soaking my saddle in mescaline before Higher Ground. I think you would find me just laying in the woods somewhere then, just chilling, looking up at the sky. Oh yeah, that's right, Pudgy. You're signed up. Yellowbird Threadworks is signed up. That'll be cool. I haven't looked at the list to see if I know anyone else who signed up early. Our buddy Mike Maris, he said he's going to sign up because there's only, and I know you made fun of me, Pudgy, with good right, because I said, or with fair reason, because I said, like, I don't want to sign up for something that's in October this early. But then I saw there was only 100 camping spaces available, so that's what motivated me to sign up on the early side of things. But so I figured if Erin wants to go, since I already have a tent, we stay in the tent together, that she wouldn't have to sign up separately. I wouldn't have to reserve a campsite. And then me and Large and Maris were talking, and Erin, of maybe doing higher ground and working our way east to Nutmeg directly and making that the week-long trip instead of going to Nutmeg a day early and then spending a week after Nutmeg. So that'd be kind of a cool way to plan the vacation, but oh, Mick, you said if you exercise this late at night, it'll take you a couple hours to unwind. Huh. Yeah, I don't know, though, because I guess, you know, I ride with my friends like last night, and last night's effort was one of those where we were only going like 9 miles an hour, but it was really rough snow on the trails, a lot of it, and slush and all that, and riding bikes with studded tires. So I got home, and I think I might have, we got home like 10:30, unwound for like an hour, then went to bed. So yeah, I don't know. This is a different kind of effort, obviously, but yeah, I'll find out. I wonder if the fact that this put me at what, 45? No, that was 18 miles, 48 miles for the day if I'll just naturally be tired, but I don't sleep very well in general. And I still have a little bit of the sciatic nerve pain. It's getting way better, but that wakes me up in the night too, but it doesn't keep me from falling asleep, so. Hi, what's up, Doze Tacos? Oh, Pudgy, you took the whole week off too? Oh, you said Funny Brad signed up? I didn't know that. I actually haven't really, though, had the chance to chat with him much the last little bit. Yeah, it was a bummer. Funny Brad was who I was going with to Higher Ground last year. He was going to pick me up, but unfortunately his dad died the day before, so. Oh, we were speaking of my favorite classics riders, Johan Museo. I'm wearing the Map-I hat right now. I think Museo is one of my favorite. I love that scene of him pointing to his knee when he made the comeback at Paris-Roubaix after he had been, I think they had told him he wouldn't ride professionally again when he hurt his knee, and then he came back and won Paris-Roubaix. So, yeah, Museo is one of my favorites. GCN has a pretty cool documentary on him I think it's on GCN Plus. But oh yeah, I was gonna see if. What is today's date? Today's the 29th. Oh yeah, we did see that, Dylan. You posted a new build. Throw this up here while we're chatting. Oh yeah, I don't have this screen optimized now. Let me fix this up a little bit. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, is Funny Brad not on the list? Maybe you're thinking of last year's. Yeah. But do you dream about Funny Brad too? Oh yeah, the Lion of Flanders. That's Museo's nickname. I was drawing a blank on that. So what bike? Is this a brand new frame for you, Dylan? Oh, this is made out of the same Reynolds as my Raleigh. Stanton Sherpa. course, got the clampers on there. Chris King headset. What's that stem? That looks familiar, but I can't place it. Looks like Paul Levers too, huh? Oh, this is what you're taking to Rays tomorrow. Nice. Oh, yeah, you said you're riding Rays at 11 a.m. New frame, everything else is not new. First ride on it tomorrow at Rays. Nice. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, 853. One of the things about 853, right, is it's not supposed to be the absolute lightest, but it's supposed to have some flexible characteristics. I believe that's why they said they chose it for my rally. That's the only thing I've ever read about it. Ah, the stem is an Industry 9. Thanks. I knew I'd seen those. I was talking about Maris earlier, and there's something that you guys showed me on the stream. I can't remember who brought it up, whether it was Dylan or Pudgy, but our buddy Maris is getting a new bike build up, and he's getting one of those Ingrid cranks that we had talked about before put on it. Yeah, it looks sharp. Like I said, I don't like a lot of looks of mountain bikes, but that's for the shape, I really like the looks of that bike. Where's Stanton from? Where's, I have no idea. I actually really don't know a lot about him. So Dylan answered some questions in the Discord. The fork is a 34-120 step cast, 120 downcountry fork category. I didn't know anything about downcountry until the latest bikepacking.com video where they were talking about downcountry. Oh, British company, huh? Mick talking about the tubing. You said a bit like Columbus Zona versus Spirit. You said you have one of each and the Zona rides a bit better. Yeah. It's so hard to say with I always say this about tubing profiles. I mean, so much of the geometry of the bike is going to have an effect also. Whereas, I have a bike that's a 60 with a pretty traditional diamond frame geometry. The fact that it has the same tubing as Dylan's is not going to matter because they're such different geometries and sizes, right? I mean, here's Jay Dandy's Gary Fisher. Where is that? Boys Outhouse, 12 Howler, 1907? Dan L., you said bike shops have closed? 2 bike shops have closed in your areas? Huh, interesting. I know there's going to be a little bit of a bike bust after the bike boom, obviously. I didn't think it would affect bike shops as much as it would affect manufacturers, because bike shops are still going to be doing service and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Andrew, yeah. Interesting you say that. It's our buddy our buddy, that was a year ago today that he passed away. So, yeah. Yeah, the bike bust is already happening for sure. 12 Holer, yeah. Howler? Holer. Yeah, the bike bust is definitely already happening, but it'll be interesting. I always wonder that. I always think that about running any business. I mean, obviously I run my own, but we don't manufacture stuff. how you do have to ramp up to capture like as much of the market and get people what they need when stuff goes crazy like it did. But how do you keep it then from when the inevitable downturn happens from, you know, how do you not end up over machined and overstaffed? I guess, I don't know. It's always interesting to me. Oh, that's in Manaway, Jay Dandy. Okay. Written out through there with Arj and Aaron before. Oh yeah, Andrew. Well, the videos aren't a year old, but it literally is that. Well, welcome to the channel. First off, I'm glad you're here. But yeah, the tribute ride we did this summer because the way COVID still was, we wanted the family wanted to be able to really get together and all that kind of stuff. And we did a short one last winter, closer to when it actually happened. But I think I have a video for each, to be honest. But yeah, it just so happens that the death was a year ago. So. Mick said, your local bike shop stopped selling bikes overnight and then became overwhelmed with repair jobs the following week. That was the big thing in the, I know you could ask Large or anyone here who worked in a bike shop how the delays on service, like the big boys in town, they were like out like months on service because everyone brought in their old bikes, but Arthur, that's a good question. You said, is it an actual bust or is it just sales leveling off to pre-COVID? I bet they're going under. I bet this is just my intuition, and I'm not looking at industry numbers, which I'm sure you could go to a trade magazine and find. But I bet they're going down a little bit because so many people bought bikes that I would guess there's less demand than there was right before COVID, just because people got their bikes fixed up. People bought new bikes, so I would think the whole thing is probably taking a little bit of a dive. But then again, there's a lot of people who got into bikes who now want nicer bikes, right? So it goes both ways. And no one trusts the economy right now, which is a good. Yeah, businesses always go up and down. But what happened with COVID was an anomaly. And then also, you know, in the 70s and into the early 80s, there was that huge bike boom where they couldn't, you know, the French and English couldn't make them fast enough and ship, you know, like 10-speed style bikes over here. And that bust ended up in a bunch of conglomerations of companies, you know, brands getting bought and, you know, all getting like, what is that? Conglomeration, whatever. So. Oh, that's interesting, Mick. Yeah, I don't want to, by the way, I don't want to pretend to be the expert in this. I have some friends who, you know, I have a friend who owns and friend who works at a bike shop. And so I get antecedent evidence. Antecedent? Is that how you pronounce that word? I could, evidence. And then I obviously follow a lot of stuff and watch a lot of YouTube channels. And yeah, it would be interesting to dive into the actual numbers on this kind of stuff instead of just, you know, guessing like I am. But I think it's going to go both ways. I think there's, as you guys probably know, people like when you recommend people buy a bike, we were talking about this last night when we were out riding at Stop for dinner and beer, about, you know, it's really hard to recommend a bike to a new person because you're like, man, I don't want to recommend the cheapest thing because what if they really get into it, then that bike is almost going to become like something they don't ride because they're going to want to ride something better. But you don't want to recommend a $2,000, $3,000 bike to someone who, if they don't like get into it, it's just going to be leaning against the wall in the garage, you know. And it's always that fine line. It's why I recommend used all the time. Like I said, same thing with a trainer. You have no idea if you're going to ride a trainer, like you don't know if you're going to like it or if you're going to hate it or if the weather's going to be good, in Ohio or bad. And it's going to, it's the same thing with bikes. It's like, and you don't want to recommend someone get something and then they just wasted their money in either way, the fact that they don't ride it or the fact that they want something nicer. We were talking about recommending brands like Fairdale is a good thing to do because they're very upgradable. Like anything in Fairdale, I'd just stand in for like, say you're a Fort State bicycle, something that's like an affordable steel frame that you could put better group set on, make the bars work better for you or something like that. But yeah, so anyways, all this to say, I think it probably has gone both ways where there's a lot of people who bought a bike, there was nothing else to do. Now they're back in their life. That bike might just be sitting. And there's probably other people who started riding a bike during the pandemic and now they're coming in for repairs, they're coming in for new bars, they're coming in for a whole new bike because they love it. So yeah, someone like Large who works at a bike shop would have a better probably opinion on that. But I don't think the local bike shops around here are getting like killed in a bad way with no business. So yeah, balancing bike life, that's kind of the same thing I was just rambling about. You do if it's your size. Yep. Charles, that's a good thing. I recommend they buy used. If they stick with it for 3 months, then they earned a better bike. Yeah. Other thing is too, new riders a lot of times want something very comfortable and upright a lot of times, whereas, I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like they want that towpath, like crushed limestone, bike path cruiser. And then that could go in any different direction from there. Some people want to get racier and get lower on their bike. Other people want to do more off-road stuff. So, yeah. I think buying used in general is just a good idea. But then again, I'm someone who only owns one new bike, and it's my winter bike, and I bought it in 2001. So I'm not someone who sees, I'm not someone who has, I've had, 3 new bikes in my life. My little Huffy BMX when I was a kid, a Trek Hybrid that I got for my birthday that got stolen when I was at college, and then my Trek 4900, which I bought in 2001 as my mountain bike, which served the purpose of what a gravel bike does now when I got it. Like I rode it on the roads, I rode it off-road, I rode it everywhere, and now it's just a winter bike. So, yeah. So when it comes to used, I think you get better value. I mean, we were talking about this last night too, where you kind of lose value on used is if you just buy a frame, because it's just amazing how like when you look at like an All City, that like say an All City just as an example, that's like say $2,300. If you were to buy that frame and like similar components on your own, like how much the cost would grow exponentially. Like even me building up that 1996 Marin, even putting some used parts on it, how quick that stuff like escalates in cost, depending on what you're using, obviously. But so I do always recommend used, but there is a certain point where if you're going to get very nice components, you could actually save money by buying a complete new bike in a way. Let me know what you guys, if that makes any sense. I know what I'm trying to say, I just don't know if it makes sense. Yeah, Mick, that's a good, you said, tell them they are embarking on a journey, same as any other interest, they will work it out themselves. It's just hard to, like I said, it's hard because if you get into it, you want nice stuff pretty much, so, Hey, what's up, Squilly? Out in Salt Lake City. Nice. Never been to Salt Lake City. Arthur said, good luck with Facebook Marketplace for buying and selling. Yeah, I've got some of my vintage frames from Craigslist, and I've actually done well. I basically, a lot of times, throw out the number like, hey, and I do it with a very nice, like, you'll probably get what you're asking, and I'll be like, here's my number in case you just want it out of there, you know, and I'm not trying to insult you. And I've done that a number of times and scored pretty well with bikes doing that. So, oh, Dan L, you said the last time you got a bike, it was free, doing a landscaping job, and they're about to throw it out. I definitely there's some curb fines down here as well. And the Peugeot I put 4,000 miles on, a scrapper sold to me for 30 bucks. You know, I probably put 100 bucks into it to get it rideable, and now over the years with 4,000 miles, it's probably got a few $100 into it, but you know. Pudgy has a good point here. He said, bikes made to be ridden hard aggressively aren't always the best to buy used depending on your knowledge of bikes or knowledge of seller. And yeah, and Yonda says this sometimes too with the way people, a lot of us are upgrading bikes. Yonda's made the point about some of like, I know Jay Dandy's done it, other people have done it too, but upgrading certain hybrids that were never made to take the stress of actually like hard gravel riding and stuff like that. And I'm not saying yours isn't, Jay Dandy, I have no idea. I'm just saying that I've heard like our local mechanics say like some people are upgrading bikes to ride really hard that probably were never designed to do that, and it could be a bad thing. I also used to ride my Viscount Aerospace, which is famous for having a death fork when we first found the industrial gravel on 28 millimeter tires. So there you go, and I've done all right. So not recommended, just saying what my personal experience is, like riding a fillet brazed British bike with their own homemade components all over the really rough stuff with, you know, box section rims. So I did used to have to get those rims trued up a lot though. So there you go. Oh, a used bike to get around is sure beats walking. I always think that when you know, we ride all over the city, all over Northeast Ohio. And so when I'm in areas where people are like waiting for the bus, or I see them walking over like the Y Bridge, which is like, what, a mile long bridge here in Akron over the Little Cuyahoga Valley, I'm like, man, get a used bike. Like, especially when it's not winter, I'm like, and I mean like, get a $50, you know, old 10-speed. You would just be able to cover so much more ground, you know, but I don't know anyone else's circumstances, so I don't want to judge, but it is something I think, you know, when you see someone walking long distances or you see them walking somewhere and you know what I mean, not to stereotype anyone, but you could generally tell when you're seeing someone walking because it's their best option. And I'm like, well, your best option would be to get a bike, you know, so. Charles, what's up? You said great buys and used bikes several years ago. You got a used Colnago titanium with full campy 2 years ago from the local bike shop. 2 years ago, your local bike shop offered you 3 times what you paid for it. Nice. Yeah, same. I mean, my road bike of choice used to be this Trek 1500 I was riding, but it's aluminum and carbon wrapped fork, only clears 28 millimeter tires, was just, it felt fast. It was just harsh on long rides, and I like to ride pretty long. Instead, I have a Schwinn Peloton that's, the frame's an 86, but it's upgraded components. It's 9-speed Dura-Ace from, you know, what, that'd be like 2007-ish. And that's like my fast road bike now, and I paid 300 bucks for it. And, you know, I'd put it up against a lot of modern steel road bikes, you know, for sure. All right, Dylan, we'll see you. Charles, you said your first new bike as a kid was a Murray 26-inch with blue jean saddle and low-end Shimano components. Yep. I wouldn't even know what that Huffy had on it. I don't remember. Jay Danny said, hybrids generally have low-end components that might not last, but the frames are fine. Yeah. And I can't remember if Yonda was talking about some specific hybrids that shouldn't be overly ridden, and I'm sure there's, you know, to say hybrids, you know, you're riding a Gary Fisher, which is obviously a nice bike. I'm sure some people are upgrading ones that are not that nice of bikes, and so there might be issues. But I think in general what you're saying there is a good point. Andrew said you need to know what to look for in an older bike, especially mountain bikes. Yeah, in a lot of anything. You know, I've showed them a bunch of times, but there's these SLK cranks up here that are carbon and were garbage. They broke on me. That came on that Schwinn Peloton. And I'm riding, all of a sudden one day my feet are next to each other. And the handlebars, the carbon bars with like 4 bends in them were, like, every single mechanic who saw me riding those said, one guy said it the best. He said, if you keep riding those bars, you're going to have to get a new smile eventually, meaning they're bars you shouldn't be riding. So. Andrew said, bikes are great for getting around, cheap ones so you don't have to worry about getting them stolen. Yeah. It's funny though, because I become attached to any bike I ride a lot. So trying to just have the bar beater that you care about less is nice, but I still like I have like, you know, some bikes that like I've built up that like there's no value in, like there's barely any value in the bike, but once I start riding it for a while, like it becomes valuable to me. Like, I don't know, my Peugeot is probably the one I've got 4,000 miles on, is on the lower end of my whole collection, but it's a bike I love and it's super sentimental to me now, so yeah. Blackball said, what's the old saying when it comes to value? Strength, weight, price, choose two. Yeah. And then what Mick said about the vintage road bikes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I built up that Barry Hoban, which is a Reynolds, full Reynolds 531 frame, like rear triangle and fork, can't be dropouts. And I bought it, the guy was asking 75, I paid 90 because he delivered it from Dayton to my friend's house in Columbus. I mean, the frame is awesome. Like you could see the lugs are beautiful. It's a really, really nice frame. And yeah, with road bikes, you could get a really good deal, especially if it's not collectible. So like you were saying, Kaonagos and stuff like that are soaring in value. Like almost any Kaonago is worth something, you know, whereas you get the brands that people don't care about, but that were like really nice made bikes, but just aren't collectible. So like a Schwinn Peloton, no one cares about an 86 Schwinn Peloton. That's Columbus SLX tubing. It's a beautiful frame, you know. Pudgy drives a hybrid. Oh, Arthur, you said, yeah, like a bike co-op. That's for sure. I mean, people have great scores at the bike co-ops, right? So I'm actually going to meet with someone who used to work at the co-op. I'll show it when we talk about it, but I have that knockoff Brooks saddle that came from there, and he's the guy who took the order. So we're going to meet up, hopefully have a beer and go for a ride sometime in January so I could get some interesting information about that. Charles said you like older road geometry that accepts big tires. That's like, to me, one of the like holy grails is finding bikes that you can convert from 27-inch rims to 700C and then hopefully fit decent tires on. I have 38s on that other Peugeot I built up as a flat bar bike, so that bike's just a little small for me, unfortunately, but it's still kind of fun to ride around. But yeah, and then if you try and do the, I think 650B conversion, if you have some long reach brakes, you could squeeze even more clearance out of like an old road bike. I don't think the bike, like I said, the people walking sold their bikes for crack. Yeah, I mean, there's other people with other situations, but. Andrew said, yeah, you would hate to have your beater stolen. 26-inch mountain bike, 853 frame. Got the whole bikes for 100 pounds, yeah. Oh, what's up, Dr. Bob? You said your first new bike you remember was a Schwinn Stingray. Nice. I remember those, yeah. I mean, I wasn't around then, but those bikes were still, the knockoffs. My brother had one of the knockoffs, and I think did I ever ride that, or did they sell that when he got whatever? I can't remember if I ever rode it, but yeah, those banana seats and everything. Yeah, Charles says, no form of transportation engenders more emotional attachment than a bicycle. Yeah, I agree. Like, the more you ride a bike, like, that's what I always say, like, this one doesn't matter as much to me. Like, yeah, they just become, I think like this one is the only one I don't have a serious emotional attachment with because it's an aluminum road bike. I kind of bought it for the group set. Now it sits on the trainer. All right, and I rode some great rides outside on it, but I mean, I'm more attached to the stickers I put on it. And it's also one I actually put a lot of stickers on because I didn't feel sentimental about it, which I usually don't put a ton, like just a couple, maybe small placed ones on some bikes. But see you, Mick. Have a great New Year's. Schoolie said you picked up a 96 Allay with 105 in 2020 from a local collective for a couple bucks. It's fun and fast, but terrifying in the wet. Ye old Twitch. Nice. Oh yeah, you said your Pudgy. You said your Chinelli you're not attached to yet, but you keep adding Paul stuff to it. Yeah, that you'll be attached by your money. Yeah, that is Eric J. Dandy. Sorry, when you asked the question, Eric, I was reading that and trying to hope it would come back to me who you were talking about. Yeah, I'm going to try and meet up with Eric. I'll let you know. I guess he also used to work with, he either used to work with Erin, my girlfriend, or be one of her customers when she worked at a coffee shop years and years ago. But they know each other because he had messaged her at some point and said, it's cool you're doing bike stuff. You know, I'm doing bike stuff, so yeah. Good night, Bicycle Dad. Andrew said you're more of a mountain bike guy, but looking to get a gravel bike. Yeah. He slid into those DMs, yeah. What time is it? I'm probably gonna, 10:42, yeah. Oh, they work together, okay. Erin and Eric work together, yeah. I couldn't remember. She told me when we first talked about it, then I told her I was planning on meeting up, and he said to tell Erin too, but we said after the new year, let's just reconnect after the new year is everything, you know. Number of things too, like I know Dylan's already out of here. Unfortunately, he's going to be up here tomorrow, but I won't be able to go to Rays. But I want to get down to Columbus in January, hopefully, depending on the weather. This weekend's going to be awesome, but obviously I already have plans. There's a, Charles, there's a bakery in Cincinnati, Ohio called Allay, and they have one of the, this would that would be 90s, right? It's a lugged carbon specialized Allay on the wall over the, behind the register. Yeah, I need to get going on the earlier side because I need to jump in the shower. I'm reminding myself all this stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me. You guys made my mileage go real easy. It was kind of fun. I don't know if I'll do that very often riding at night. Maybe I'll throw the stream on if I'm doing a ride during the day if we get some horrible weather this winter. I don't know if anyone was I don't know if it's worth ever trying to do a ride along or anything like that. We'll see. Some other people are already kind of doing that stuff, and I don't want to take away any of their thunder either. So, all right, yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm hoping to get one more video out before the new year, but I don't know if it'll happen. Like I said, I got 70 some more miles to ride. So we'll see. And I really have taken this week off more than I think I've ever taken anything off as a photographer since I started my own business. So I do want to get back to it like early in the new year and start getting stuff done. But yeah, it's been, so I haven't really been, even though I've made a couple videos, I haven't been pushing myself. I'm like, it's nice to kind of chill, something I don't do very often. So, and riding my bike is a form of chilling for me. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks everyone. Again, Happy New Year. See you in 2023.
See myself on your YouTube.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this is not a mistake.
Fitzwater photo.